everybody, Ron Wildman in here on your Middle Georgia Spotlight program. This week we're going to spotlight our Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
Which spread over 2 months actually across
Yes.
the country. September and October.
Yes, it goes from, I believe, September 15th to October 15th.
And this is Reyna Alcantar.
Yes.
Reyna is a native of Mexico.
Yes.
Came up when you were how old?
I was 9.
9. What's your family story? How did you get here?
So my dad brought us here when I was 9 years old. Initially, he applied for a visa and brought us to Fort Valley, Georgia. Well, initially we lived in Michigan the first few months, and then we came down to Fort Valley.
Well, that was smart to move out of Michigan.
We really like the South. It's home to us. And, after that, he really came here to work in the peach fields. We worked in Middle Georgia for a long time in the peach fields, and then just grew up there, assimilated there, loved it here and there. Fort Valley, my mom still lives there, and my brother and two of my sisters live there. So yes.
What was Southern hospitality to a 9-year-old?
So this is something you and I were discussing earlier. I think that we were really lucky to come in the late 80s because the hospitality that we experienced is something that I don't see anymore. We had a lot of really great neighbors that would invite us to church, invite us different places. We had a neighbor, Miss Montgomery. She would make fudge for us and take it to us. And of course, we're kids. Who doesn't like chocolate? We loved Miss Montgomery. We would go and visit her. She was like an older lady. We had another lady across the street. She would make hair bows, and she would be like, "Here, come and see the hair bows," and sometimes give us hair bows or teach us how to cook Southern food. And I feel like we were very fortunate to have experienced that type of welcoming and care. I don't think we would have assimilated as well if we hadn't had neighbors like that.
When you came to Georgia, you say you were 9 years old. Could you speak any English?
I could not, but even back then they had ESL classes. There were not very many families in Fort Valley that spoke Spanish. I think we were like the first family, and then after that we had 2 or 3 more families that came in, but they had a teacher that would teach us English. And because we weren't very many families and most of the other children spoke English, actually all of the other children spoke English, we had to pick it up pretty fast.
Southern English.
Yes, yes, Southern English.
And so did it take you a long time before you caught on, or is it easy to do at that age?
So for me, it didn't take me a long time. I'm a reader, and I loved reading, so I think that helped me a lot because I would pick up any book that I could pick up and read everything. So when you read, I think that you assimilate pretty quickly to the language.
Well, you're bilingual now.
Yes, of course.
I always wondered, what's it like bilingual? Do you think Spanish and see English or vice versa, or how does that work?
I think I came here so young that I think in English, I write in English. My best language is English. I do really well in Spanish because I make myself read Spanish and I make myself do things in Spanish so that I can maintain the language. But my first language of thought is definitely English. I prefer reading in English, although when something is originally written in Spanish, I'll read that, just to keep myself sharp.
As a new citizen, you went through grade school,
Yes.
middle school, and high school.
Yes.
Did you go beyond there?
Yes. I went to Penn State and Georgia State.
Penn State and Georgia State.
Yes.
And how did that go for you?
I liked it. I think it was a good experience.
You're a professional now in what field?
So I sell insurance for a living. I own a farmer's insurance agency, but I do other things like health insurance that's not part of farmers.
How did you pick insurance, or did it pick you?
It picked me. Yes, insurance definitely picked me. It was accidental.
Yeah, in what way?
I was waiting tables at the time that insurance picked me. And this gentleman went into the restaurant and he said, "Do you want to come to an interview?" And I said, yes, I'd love to go to an interview. And so I went to an interview with him. This is when I was still living in Atlanta. He was a nationwide agent at the time. And he gave me a job. And then after that, it was something that I like. I often say not everybody is gonna like insurance because it's something that can be repetitive and some people think boring. And it is that way if you think that way. But to me, it was something that I felt called to because I helped a lot of people. And at the end of the day, that gave me a lot of satisfaction. So I just kept on with it. And then after that, I moved back to Middle Georgia and worked in an agency in Fort Valley. And then I believe in 2015, I got the opportunity to open my agency with farmers.
Where are you located?
In Byron, Georgia.
In Byron? Yeah.
Yes.
That's a booming town.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, insurance is not on my favorite list right now.
I know.
And why is it getting higher and higher when you don't even make a claim? Like me, I don't make a claim.
Okay, so insurance is experience rated. So that means that even if you don't make a claim, but the area where you live has a large number of claims, then
31204.
So the insurance company is going to say in the 31204 zip code, there were, 10,000 claims last year. So in order to recoup the money that we paid out in those claims, we're going to have to raise everybody's premiums. So they'll file with Department of Insurance to see if they will allow them to raise the premiums, and if they do, then they do. Likewise, if they had a great year and there weren't so many claims that were paid out, they could also file to have a rate reduction. So it's important to kind of check your pricing, like if you've been, let's say, with Allstate or State Farm for a few years, you may want to check around and see if maybe Geico's a little bit better, or Nationwide, or Farmers, because every company has a change in pricing every 2 or 3 years. Like for instance, about a year and a half ago, I could barely sell home and car. Like our prices were really, really high. And now they're beginning to get better. So I'm like, oh, wow, I'm actually surprised when I'm quoting, and I'm like, the price is not bad.
Really? It would change that much?
Yes.
I'll mention, I'm with State Farm, and my monthly check is higher than my 2 big utility bills, which are both well over $100 each.
Yes.
And I haven't made a claim.
Okay. Yeah.
So I should shop around if I can.
You should check. Right? You should check because longevity with a company also brings you perks. So you should check. And
what kind of perks?
So for instance, some companies offer things like accident forgiveness, or they may not count a ticket if you get one. I know in particular with State Farm, if you've been with them for a long, long time, they have those kind of perks, right?
Oh, they do?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So before you switch, you have to make sure that you're not losing access to something that could be beneficial to you later.
I see.
And now if the price difference is significant, only you know your budget, so only you know what decision you're gonna make as far as switching. But if the value that the perks could bring you later on are more beneficial, then I would stick with a company.
Does it give you satisfaction, though, when you pay out a big check to somebody that really helps them?
So I don't really do that. That's handled by claims. But I do act as a liaison with my customer in the claims department, like when they can't get in touch with a claims rep, or they're not really happy with the resolution of the claim. At that point, I get involved with a claim. But other than that, I don't really get to hand out checks.
Well, but what I'm saying, in effect, that you're responsible for them, maybe help them rebuild their house or repair their car or whatever it is.
So the one thing that does give me satisfaction is that they got the coverage that they needed. But in order for you to get the coverage that you need and the payout in the event of a claim that you need as well, you have to also be truthful at the time of application. For instance, sometimes when I'm doing a home quote, we do these reconstruction cost assessments that, we have a lot of access to, like square footage, kind of amenities in the home, things like that. And the value might come back at $400,000. And the customer will say, but Reyna, my house was only $150,000. And I'm like, yes, but if I insure it for 150 at the time of a claim, if you have a big loss, they're not gonna pay to rebuild your home, right? So the important thing for me is trying to make sure that you have the right coverage.
And have you seen how good that turned out sometimes?
Yes, yes, I have. Because you don't want, a check for just half of your home.
My goodness, that's a complicated business, isn't it?
It can be.
Yeah. Hispanic Heritage Month, that's what we're here.
Yes.
That we got my insurance problem settled.
Okay.
When's it going on?
So the Hispanic Heritage Festivals are going to be at the Tubman Museum. There's one on the 18th of October and another one on the 25th of October, which is Moises Velez's Art Expo. And the one on the 18th, it's just a regular festival that's going to have vendors, food, etc., and different kind of cultural activities.
Most of this is at the Tubman in that area there?
Yes.
And what usually goes on there? How do you have a good time at that festival?
I think you walk around, meet people, see what kind of different arts and crafts they have, also experience the food, the music, and just, share your joy.
How large is the Hispanic community in Middle Georgia?
I don't know.
But is it growing?
I believe it grows every single day, yes.
Yeah. Do you have many of them as customers of your insurance company?
I have a good bit of Hispanic customers, but there are other agents. So, of course, I don't have all of the Hispanic customers.
The festival is spread over 2 months.
Yes.
September and October.
The Hispanic Heritage Month is September and October, yes.
Yeah. Now, what countries usually are recognized during the month?
Well, all of them. And the reason that Hispanic Heritage Month is spread over 2 months, it's because around mid-September is when a lot of the countries' Independence Days happen, and then they just go throughout. So that's why they make it starting in mid-September. I believe El Salvador, maybe Guatemala are like September the 15th, Mexico September the 16th, and so on. And excuse me that I'm not so current on my history, but I don't really know the Independence Days for all of the other countries.
I wouldn't expect you to know that.
Yes.
Columbus Day falls in there too, and
Yes,
in a
Columbus
way,
Day.
even though he was Italian, I guess, and but it still discovered all these countries.
Correct, yes.
I also learned something the other day that Brazil is not a part of because they speak Portuguese.
Portuguese.
That's their main official language.
Yes.
Yeah, but what part of Mexico did you come from?
So my family's from Michoacan.
And what's it known for?
Oh, okay. So right now, Michoacan is known for agriculturally, things like avocados, limes, but more recently for a high level of crime due to the cartels and violence. Unfortunately, they, kidnap people, they kill people, not the people from Michoacan, but the people who are involved in the cartels, and that's something that's very sad because it means that when you do go and visit, you have to be extra careful.
Where is your county? Where was?
Michoacan, the
Yeah,
state.
where is it in relation to the border?
So it's kind of like the middle part of Mexico.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And they have those drug problems down there?
I think they have them in a lot of the country. So, but yes, that's an area where it's particularly hard hitting.
Yeah. You, being here, how many years have you been here roughly now?
So let's see. I came here when I was 9. Are you gonna make me disclose my age?
Oh, no.
Oh, let me see. Let me do the math in my head. So 9. So I guess 37 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're getting up there, aren't you?
Yeah, I
You
know.
look great. You really
Thank
do.
you,
My
thank you.
goodness,
I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try and, walk every day and pray every day. And, I think having a calm personality, a good relationship with God, and being joyful really helps with this.
What's joyful mean to you?
What does joyful mean to you? Being authentic to yourself, being authentic to the person that you are, laughing, sharing with friends, with family, and trying to have a very positive outlook. I think that all of us have difficulties in our life, right? Like, I'm sure you go home and there's things that challenge you. I go home, there's things that challenge me. But I say to myself, like today, I might have a challenging day, but I know that God walks with me, and tomorrow's gonna be better.
You've been watching the news recently. It seems like, I remember when I was coming up, and not too long ago, God was never mentioned on TV, Jesus or anybody, except on a religious program. But it seems like we're getting it from all directions now. How do you feel about that?
I am,
It's growing.
well, I am God's daughter. So I think, I think, and I always say, we live in the best country in the world. And one of the things that's great about this country is that you have the opportunity to have opinions, right? And to express both your opinion, your vote, etc. And I think the country was founded on religious freedom. Now, I'm not gonna judge somebody that doesn't have religion or has a different kind of religion than me, because I don't really think that's my place, because that's what the country was founded on, right? Religious freedom. But I am God's daughter. I firmly believe that there is a God, a creator that created the universe and me. And if I hear God being mentioned, I'm not a person that's going to be offended.
Now, as a news guy, I accepted everything that come down the road towards me. And it's in effect the same attitude that you have internally on that, because you want to be fair to everybody.
Yes.
And you're not for or against anybody.
Correct.
Mainly not against anybody in particular.
Mainly not against anybody.
Yeah. What about, my grandparents, my mother's parents came to this country in the 1880s, and my mother was in northern Pennsylvania. Her father was a coal miner, and he came over from Europe, and so I'm second generation, I guess. Mom had a lot of recipes and a lot of things she cooked up from her mother that I'd like to eventually learn myself, or at least have my daughter learn, pick up. What have you kept in your repertoire?
So my mom is an excellent cook. I would say the best cook, and I don't think I'm being biased. And I don't think I'm being biased because anybody who sat in my mom's table loves her food. And I think that I'm pretty lucky to have inherited that talent from her. So, and it's not really recipes exactly, because it's not like she says, okay, here are a cup of flour, or here are a cup of, this. It's just kind of like watching and seeing how she cooks things and giving whatever dish she's making that flavor that's so unique to her. Now, I'll put a twist on it, like for instance, some people in Mexico may cook with lard. She doesn't cook with lard, or vegetable oil, and I don't do that. I'll do olive oil or avocado oil, so I do change it up a little bit, to try and make it healthier.
Yeah.
Well, to try and make it healthier, because
Yeah.
I don't really want to eat lard if I don't have to.
Now, what are some of the things you create?
So I'm a big chicken eater, so I'll make this spicy dish called tinga, which you make out of chicken and chipotle sauce, and then you have it on tostadas. I don't know if you know what tostadas are. They're like the flat, crunchy tortilla, and it turns out really delicious. And that's one of the things that I like cooking the most, because it comes out delicious, and I like eating it.
To me, Taco Bell is Mexican. Is it? How much Mexican are they?
So Taco Bell is not Mexican.
Oh, it isn't?
Mexican, but let me tell you something. And I sometimes have a little Taco Bell here and there too.
We do that with everything, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a Del Taco down in Warner Robins.
Yes.
Once
I
a
had the Del
month.
Taco.
Once a month. We'll go to Warner Robins and have a big lunch down there at Del Taco, because that's the only one around here.
Yes. And the thing I like about Del Taco is they give you fries with the tacos. So you have a little bit of both.
Well, I usually go down there and order a hamburger. Getting back to the Heritage Month, what are some of the other activities that you've participated in over the years?
So for a while, I helped participate and organize the big Dia de Muerto event. This is something that I stepped away from this year because I had a lot of personal things happen.
Say that event slower.
Dia de Muertos, which is like Day of the Dead, and that was usually celebrated in Warner Robins. I don't know much of what's going to happen with it this year. You know, I think it's still going on, but I had, like I said, personal things happen this year that I just had to step away from participating on so many things.
You know, that one gives me the creeps. They really get into it in Mexico, don't they? And there's a restaurant up in Atlanta that my grandson took me to one day, and they have this stuff all over the place in this restaurant. And I couldn't wait to get out of there.
What was it called, the restaurant?
I can't remember the name of it, but what I'm saying, our loved ones are, it's a more reverent holiday than I'm giving it right now. But I'm looking at the other side of it. It's like our Halloween, I think, doesn't do our deceased well.
Yeah, I think with Dia de Muertos, it's more a cultural way to honor the ones that have passed away. And so, you know, in my home, I typically set out like an altar with the people who have passed away, like their pictures and maybe things that they like to eat.
Yeah, that's good.
I haven't been in Mexico as an adult during Dia de Muertos, so I can't really say what it's like now, but I do remember that when I was a little kid, I really look forward to that day because my mom would set out candy and, you know, like really, really nice treats. And so after the festivity was over, we got to eat it. So, you know, what kid doesn't like candy?
Your mom's still with us?
Thankfully, yes. We're
Yeah.
blessed.
You visit her much?
My mom lives here. She actually just came back. She was in Mexico, and I picked her up Sunday, so I was really, really happy to see her, yes.
Have you been back to Mexico in recent years?
I usually go about once a year.
Uh-huh.
Just to visit. I take my kids because I want them to be able to be fluent in Spanish, and I want them to see how fortunate they are to live in the United States, because when you go to Mexico, as in any other country that's maybe not Europe, you see a different lifestyle. And I think children here are very blessed to live a certain type of lifestyle, and sometimes they can't see past it, and they'll complain like, "Oh, you don't want me you don't want me to have this. You don't love me." Oh, yes, I do love you. Come on, let's go see the kids on the street. This is how they're living. So I think that injects them with a little bit of gratitude, and then they come back very thankful that they're in the U.S.
You love the country.
The U.S.
America.
Oh, I think it's the best country in the world.
You know, anybody talk from outside of this country says the same thing almost unanimously. But we sit around, like you said, complain a lot about what we have here. We have a lot more than what we think we do, don't we?
Yes, we have a lot more, and I think that a good rule of thumb is to be grateful every single day for the things that you have, you know, like whether it's food, housing, clothes, you know. There are so many people that don't have that. Water, I mean.
Just clean water.
Clean water. Like this year, I was also fortunate enough to be invited to Guatemala. And I went to Guatemala with some friends of mine. Beautiful country, loved it. And the water situation there was just so bad. Like, I felt bad taking a shower, you know, because the water was so scarce.
Oh, my goodness.
That you couldn't really do it. And if you did, you had to take a very short shower. Now, the area of Mexico where my parents are from, they don't have that problem, but they do have a problem with polluted water, which is also a big problem because, you know, if your source of drinking water is polluted, it's going to affect your health.
So what do you
know.
do? How do you survive in a situation like that?
Well, if you have the money, you buy bottled water. If you don't have the money, sadly, you get diseases.
And you see it all the time down there?
Yes, yes.
But you don't have that here, do you?
Not quite. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other things, you know, like, but here we're so fortunate to have water purification systems that purify the water, recycle it back, and then we get to be the beneficiaries of those systems.
Down at the Tubman, we're going to have food trucks there. In the
Yes.
past, what kind of food do they bring in?
I think it's very international as far as Latin fare goes, Mexican, Cuban, now Puerto Rican, I believe.
You mentioned that chicken. What else do you cook up when you Try to put a meal together.
I can cook anything and everything, like that I like, and I can cook Southern food too, because, I obviously love Southern food. And so really anything.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
My favorite dish? Oh my gosh. So I don't really have favorites of anything. I've been working on getting favorites, but I don't really have favorites. But as far as like Southern food, I love fried chicken. And Mexican food, I would say that tinga dish that I make.
What about desserts?
I can make desserts. Like I can make flan. I can make, like any kind of cobbler. Because I grew up in Fort Valley. Of course, I love peach cobbler, but I'm more particular to like the blueberry cobbler and cakes here and there.
Georgia's a big blueberry state.
Yes.
We grow more blueberries than almost anything else. That's hard to believe with all the peaches we have here.
Yes.
Yeah. What about apples? Do you use apples for anything?
Just to eat them, but I don't usually cook with apples.
Uh-huh. Now, what are you going to be doing in particular with the festival this year? I know you've backed off a little bit, but there are some things you want to work with.
So this year, I've committed to helping Dr. Pino do Dia de Muerto altar at the festival that's going to be held on the 18th. And I'm also going to be helping Don Moises Vélez with his festival, maybe acquiring artists to go and do the expo for him.
What kind of art?
I guess any kind of art that speaks to you.
Would it have to be relate to?
It should be, because of course
that would help them win, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be a Hispanic theme, but people see art different ways. So if you think that it's Hispanic related, who am I to say that to you it isn't?
Yeah. Tell me about your children. How many do you have?
I have 2 children. I have a 12-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son.
They go to regular public school, or?
Oh yeah, they go to public school.
And you think of Hispanic folks, at least up here in America, you think of work ethic, hardworking people.
Yes.
How does that turn out to be when a lot of us aren't?
I don't think a lot of people aren't working. I think sometimes you just lose sight of, your purpose. I think when you have your purpose in front of you, then you go for it because you have passion for what you do. Now, in the case of the Hispanic people that come here who are first generation, of course they want to, I think, surpass the poverty that they may have left in their countries. So that's a big driver for their work ethic. And, people from, like me, I joke around with my sisters a lot, because we're probably about the only Hispanic people that are always on time, because that's what we learned from our parents, to always be on time. And when we get to work, I get to work, I may own the place, but I get to work just like any other person every day. I go to work, I stay, there most of the day, and then go home, go work the next day, etc. And I mean, it's just a regular job.
I used to be in charge of 20-some people over at Channel 24 here. And I set the work schedules up a half hour earlier than I need them, just so they'd eventually get there at what I thought was the right time. It's amazing. I've been told that success at a job, 80% of it, you're judged by being on time. If you're on time, you're doing the job.
Well, I think showing up too, I think that when you show up, that's about 70% of it, because there's people that may open a business but then not show up. So when you do that, how do you expect success, right? You can't. But if you show up, that's kind of like going to the gym. If you go to the gym and work out, then, that's half the battle. But if you don't go to, if you have the membership and you think about going, but then you don't go, then, you're not really going to see too many results.
You might have inspired me to go to the gym.
Yeah. But getting back to the work ethic, I think it's very important for everybody, not just Hispanics, to hold their children accountable. Because if you don't hold your children accountable, because you may think, oh, they're just a kid, they may not know how to do this. Children are very smart, and I think when you give them the responsibility to be independent. And I don't mean independent as in go and get a job at 7. I mean independent as you have certain things that you're in charge of at home. You're immediately guiding them or leading them toward being that person that shows up on time, whether it's at their own company or at their own job.
Reyna, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and we're looking forward to the Tubman on what date again?
The 18th of October and the 25th of October.
Well, thank you again for being with us.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for
folks.
having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, folks, for being with us on our Middle Georgia Spotlight. I'm Ron Wildman over here at WMUB TV.